I don't even know how to describe how I feel about that right now. I think it's mostly bad. Anyway.
Drop the N64.
That's the new intro, actually, for the show.
Nice.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast where anything can and will happen. Because Nick is always looking for a new activity and a new co-host in hopes that one day his best friend Nnamdi might come back. It's time to get started with the show. Here's your host. It's Nick Minus Nnamdi.
This is the episode of Nick Minus Nnamdi. What? I am your host, Nick. Unfortunately, my co-host Nnamdi couldn't be here today. He got stuck in traffic, which is really, really bad. If you know anything about the area that we're in, Houston, it's bad traffic. Just believe me. If you are not from here, just believe me. And if you are from here, you get it, right? Anyway, so instead, we're not going to be doing the show with Nnamdi like we had originally planned. We are going to go with my co-host for the day, Mr. Stephen Swank. So excited to have you here, Stephen. Say hello.
Hello.
What, it is Stephen, right?
It's actually Stephen.
Stephen?
Yeah. It's okay. A lot of people do that. At least you didn't say Swank. I was expecting you to say Swank.
Stephen Swank?
Uh-huh.
No, I know you got that swank, bro. But it's spelled differently than most Stevens.
Yeah, you know, it's actually Stephen with a PH.
Whoa!
I know.
Is it really?
Yeah, and you know it's not Stephen because it's spelled with an E at the end instead of an A. Uh-huh.
You're right.
Stephen. What?
Oh, is that so? No, Stephen also has his own show, phBalance, on YouTube. Check it out. I play games with him a lot there, but he plays games a lot by himself too, and he is super, super funny, and I just try and be funny sometimes with him as well. Definitely check that out. We'll be putting that in, but we are doing a special crossover episode. What of my podcast, Nick Minus Nnamdi, along with Steven's show, where we are going to break down the 10 best Nintendo 64 games of all time. We're going to call this one Top 10.
Top 10.
Yeah, because we're going to do a bunch of Top 10 lists, and this is the 10 best Nintendo 64 games of all time. He's great for this because you've been pretty much a game guy forever, right?
I've been a game guy. Dude.
You're a Game Boy.
I'm a Game Boy.
A self-proclaimed Game Boy.
Yeah, my parents used to call me the Game Boy. That was my nickname growing up.
Seriously?
And yes, actually. I had a
cool.
lot of nicknames growing up. I got called the Game Boy.
Uh-huh.
Apparently, I got called the Director all the time.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, they just predicted my future, man.
They really did.
It's crazy.
All right, Steven, so go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, or if you don't want to tell us about yourself, tell us about somebody else.
Oh, okay. Well, Nick Pinelli here is one of
Yeah,
my
sure,
really
why not?
good friends. I met him a couple years back.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
About 2, 3.
Yeah.
I got dragged into auditioning for...
He saw who the director of the troupe was, and he was like, stay away from this guy.
Well, if I want to be honest, I saw who the director of the troupe was, and I was like, where do I sign up?
Yeah. It was me, by the way. I was the
Nick.
director of the
It was
troupe
Nick.
at
Nick
the
was the
time.
director. And I didn't want to audition at all, but my girlfriend at the time was like, I'm doing this. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll go with you to the audition. And then I met Nick, and it was like looking into a mirror. And I was like, it really was.
It actually was. It's kind of creepy how much we're similar.
I remember the thing I was proudest of at that audition.
Yeah.
Which got no reaction from anyone.
Including me?
Including you,
Okay.
yeah. Was when you asked us to describe ourselves.
Yeah.
And, like, tell us a little bit about ourselves. And
Yeah.
I was like, well, my name's Steven. I drive a 2012 Honda Accord. Like, no.
That was your most proud thing? Wait, a Honda Accord was your...
2012 Honda Accord. But anyways, I love video games, board games, escape rooms.
Hold on, I'm so proud of the fact, not even that I drive the 2012 Honda Accord, but the fact that I told you that I drive the 20... You know what I remember specifically, though? Is you were like, oh yeah, I have a bunch of games in my trunk. Do you want to see them? Was a question that you asked me. I was like, because I was asking everybody if they like to play games. You're like, yeah, I love games. They're in my trunk. Want to see them?
Come check out my trunk.
So there's the thing about this. It's an actor I'm auditioning, and he's like, yeah, check out the trunk of my car. Anyway, give me a part. Okay. Very interesting, and that's super funny too. Actually, because I'm not the director anymore, I stepped down, and Stephen replaced me. Like I think he's going to replace me my entire life. I do sleep with the light on just in case.
I am gunning for you.
Yes.
I still want you to check out my trunk.
Yeah, I never have. Probably a good idea that I haven't, and if I do, it might be a bad idea for us in the future. So thanks for the description about me.
Yeah, it really wasn't about me at all. I was going to loop back around, but if you don't want to hear about me, that's fine.
Nope, I'm the worst.
Cool.
Go ahead. Loop back to be about yourself.
Well, I really don't have much else to say.
Loop
I have
back
okay.
to talk about yourself.
I
Dude, you're
have
making a
a
podcast
YouTube
here.
channel
Thank you.
called phBalance.
Thank you.
phBalance. Did I do that right? It's weird. I am a lot cleaner. Just myself.
Yeah.
Like I don't swear at all, and I'm like really wholesome and innocent. And then the second Nick comes on, I'm just like a misogynistic, like
Yeah, I have to
awful
say,
person.
Stephen, you're a great person, but then sometimes you go on the mic and it's like somebody else takes over.
I like the
don't know.
ha-ha controversial humor.
Yes, very much haha. And then I get dragged into it often. And I do these jokes, and then I think to myself, I'm not associated with him, except for I'm definitely associating myself with you.
You do the jokes, and I turn it on you.
Yeah, you do, and it makes it even worse. Okay, so now I have for you one of my favorite segments called Totally Untrue Facts.
Totally untrue facts.
These are 3 100% true. Okay, you're making the gesture like it hurts you before you've even heard that.
Scratching my eyebrow.
Yeah, but you're closing your eyes like, oh my god.
I was really enjoying that itch.
Oh man, this itch. Oh my gosh.
It was so good.
So, the first untrue fact about you is that a crowning achievement of yours is placing second in a cake eating contest.
No.
No? Have you ever done any food eating contest?
No, not at all, actually.
No, not at
No,
all?
I desperately want these facts to be true, by the way.
I will tell you that fact is actually true about me.
So how does that make you feel? Placing
Really?
second place.
Actually, it was really good. I'm not joking. I really am proud of the fact that I got second in this
good.
cake eating contest.
That's good. You're not toxic about you have to be first.
No, I'm not.
You're okay never being the best.
Well, I didn't say that. I'm just.
Well, you
in
didn't
this
say that, but your
exact
actions
instance.
did.
I knew you were attacking me and like prodding and like poking the knife at me over and over. But I was wondering how long it could last.
Yeah, not
long.
Not long.
Not long is the answer. Okay, fact number 2. One time, Stephen got a text that invited him to a girl's birthday slumber party. He didn't know what to say because he was pretty sure it was supposed to go to somebody else, but he also really liked this girl. So he didn't say anything and just didn't show up to the party. The girl who invited him never said anything to him either, which made him wonder if it was actually supposed to be or not.
Nick, are these all about you?
No, this has nothing to do with me.
Okay,
This is
no,
just
this
from
is
my
not me
career.
at all either.
No?
No.
It's never happened.
No, I don't have the chill just to never bring it up. I would have brought it up immediately. Are you
Instantly.
kidding?
They're like, hey,
No,
what is this?
I would have been like, what is this? And she'd be like, oh, that wasn't for you. And I'm like, you sure?
I mean, I could.
Like, seriously, like, if
Yeah.
it was, it's fine.
Are you more friends with girls or with guys, would you say?
Girls.
Girls? So if you got invited over to a girl's slumber party, would you think that you were being invited as like a, hey, Steven,
Yes.
or was it more like a, hey, Steven, you're one of the girls, come hang out with us?
It depends.
You know what I mean?
It depends on who it is.
Yeah.
If I'm like really close with them,
Yeah.
if it's like one of my really close friends, I would think it's the second one.
Yeah.
But also, I just don't like spending the night with anyone. It does not matter. Like I really
Being close to somebody for that long? No. Okay, fact number 3. Steven's actually a werewolf. No, half werewolf.
that I would not be surprised about.
Wait, if you're half werewolf, does that mean like you turn into a werewolf a quarter? Like only your legs turn werewolf?
Well, I mean, if you look at my legs.
Actually, yeah, you have very hairy legs. Maybe you are.
Yeah, I know. That would explain a lot.
It would explain a lot.
I have a lot of bodily hair. Were those the 3 facts?
Those were 3 facts.
I wanted one of them to be true.
I'm
How
sorry.
awesome would that have been if you just like pegged me?
That's what I'm waiting for. Is I've done these totally untrue facts for literally every guest, and one day I'm going to get it right.
You will. I mean, if you keep having me on, you probably will nail one and at least pretty close.
Oh, yeah. Eventually, I think I'll get one. We'll have to see. Although you're never coming on this show again.
Oh, man.
So, Stephen, what are you passionate about?
I like to say my 3 biggest passions actually are acting, more specifically like film and television,
Okay.
but really any like visual art medium, so theater, film, television. I love acting, writing, directing, all of that stuff, binging, all of that stuff. So any form
The
of
highest art form when it comes to film, binging.
binging, yes, absolutely. I have some hot takes on a lot of shows.
Okay.
Season 8 of Game of Thrones, not that bad.
Oh, interesting. That is a hot
shoot.
take. That is a...
Worst season. Don't get me wrong. Just not.
Just not that bad.
But I'm passionate. My 3 passions are that. So any sort of film and television, games, video games, board games. I have my board game collection, like Nick said earlier. And
This is a different one than the one that's in your trunk.
there's not one in my. I mean, yes, there is one in my trunk.
Which you still want me to go see after this?
Yes, after this.
Okay.
That's what we're doing, right?
Yes, right after.
You promised if I come on the podcast, you'd come check out my trunk.
I would go see your trunk.
And my 3rd biggest passion is people. I love just interacting with people and helping people. Like, I don't know. I've always wanted to do video game related stuff, so like the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Film related stuff.
Yeah.
So like the acting and directing, and then any sort of like person-to-person interaction. Like I wanted to be like a therapist or something for a long time.
Okay.
Like I just like.
So you kind of like the one-on-one helping people?
I do. I just like interacting with people in general, just hanging out with them, talking to them, getting to know them. And I do, if they have issues, I really do like to listen and try and help them get through that, because I know how awful it is to be going through something on your own. So I like to be that support for other people.
Totally. That's a super nice thing.
Yeah.
See, these are great qualities.
I'm a nice guy.
He's a nice guy. He's a very nice guy. And we're almost exactly alike.
Well,
But we are going to go and start to talk about this actual activity that we did, which is the top 10 best Nintendo 64 games of all time. Go ahead and give them the list, Steven.
all right. Well, I want to preface this by saying Nick is 100% correct. This is the top 10 Nintendo 64 games of all time, and not just the ones that would download onto my computer. No. These are the best games.
100%.
So do you want me to just rally them off the top of my head? No specific order at
Isn't
first?
it rattle them off?
Yeah.
You said rally.
Did I say rally?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Play it back.
I'm dyslexic.
Play it back.
I'm dyslexic.
But
Stop.
you're saying words.
Yeah.
Is that how that works?
All right. Here's the top 10 Nintendo 64 games of all time.
Okay.
All right. In no particular order.
No
This
particular
isn't
order.
our top 10.
No, we will do the top 10 later.
We have Yoshi's Story, Pokemon Stadium, Star Fox,
Classic.
Diddy Kong Racing,
100%.
FIFA,
Oh, yeah.
Rugrats Scavenger Hunt.
You couldn't get through the list.
Oh my gosh. Rugrats Scavenger Hunt, Chameleon Twist 2,
Yep.
Snowboard Kids,
Yep.
Spider-Man, and Superman.
The best of the best 10 Nintendo 64 games.
We're
of all
laughing
time.
because it's just, we are filled with so much joy and
Yes.
childhood nostalgia.
I mean, who could forget Chameleon Twist 2? Yeah. That's what it was.
I saw your eyes widen when you forgot the name.
Who could forget it, though?
I don't know.
Not me. But now is our chance to also do the thing that I love to do the best, which is the play-by-play.
Sorry.
I have my own sound effect.
Okay, cut that out then.
Play-by-play. This is the section where we go over the event that we just did, except for one of us is going to be telling the story, and then the other person is going to be doing all of the sound effects for the story.
Man.
Yes, exactly. And the story that's being told could be exactly what was happening. It could not be exactly what was happening. So do you want to tell the story, or do you want to do the sound effects?
Oh man, I kind of want to do the sound effects.
You want to do the sound
but
effects?
I don't want to cut you off while you're telling it.
Well, this is an improv game, my friend.
Okay, cool. I'll do
where
the
we
sound
have to
effects.
listen to each other.
I'll do the sound effects.
So, Nick busting through the door to Steven's house.
Let me do my sound effect.
Sorry. Nick busted through the door to Steven's house. And he demanded angrily to play some games.
I want to play some games, Steven.
And Steven was like, I don't listen to you. I play by my own rules.
I don't listen to you. I play by my own rules.
So we're going to play 10 games.
So we're going to play 10 games.
Well, I'm doing sound effects. There we go. Great. So, Steven, in action movie-esque style, grabbed one controller and gave it to me. And then he grabbed a second controller and gave it to himself. And then plugged them both in. And then started the game system.
That's not just to go with it.
Go with it. So we started to play our very first game, which I can't remember what it was right now. Very first game was Chameleon Twist 2. How can I forget? That game I always remember. Which we had so much fun in this game. We just listened to the music for at least a half an hour.
I can't remember how the music goes.
But we had a lot of fun listening to it.
But I can remember the chameleon anytime he falls going... He was like, this is why I wanted to do the sound effects. Only for that reason. Yeah, for that. I
know. Okay. After we killed him one too many times, we decided to switch games. Oh, we did go straight to Spider-Man. Yes, and then we went to Spider-Man to solve another debate within this debate of, well, who is better, Marvel or DC? So we went with Spider-Man first. And the voice acting was impeccable.
This is Stan Lee explaining the tutorial of the game. Stan
Lee was actually in it. Very cool. Mm-hmm. So we were like, wow, this game is so great. Let's switch it over to Superman and see how it can handle it. So after Superman, we went...
There's no time to lose.
There's no time to waste.
That's what it was.
There's no time to waste explaining instructions. After Superman, we had a palate cleanser where we wanted to play some bad games, so we moved on to Star Fox 64.
Oh yeah, terrible game.
Yep.
Bum 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 ba-da-down.
Steven's shot so many lasers in this thing, it gave him epilepsy.
I don't know what epilepsy does.
I mean, it's not exactly wrong.
It's terrible.
That was terrible. Then we moved on to Diddy Kong Racing?
Mm-hmm. Banjo! I'm Banjo!
Yeah, he was there. We played a couple of races, and I literally crushed Steven's foot.
Ow, my foot!
You know what? I was really kicking him while he was down. Mm-hmm. Then we moved on to... Pokemon Stadium, where we had a serious Poke battle, turned our caps around, and we got to battling.
Clefairy!
Yep. We played that game for an hour because we lost track of time.
Beedrill.
And he destroyed me.
I got destroyed by Steven.
Is that what I sound like?
Yes, it's actually spot on. Listen to this back.
Oh, it'll be scary. Mm-hmm. Then we moved on to another game. Had fun with... No, we didn't have fun because I think that was Snowboard Kids 2.
It wasn't, but go on.
Oh, what was
this?
This
is your recall.
Oh, then it was Snowboard Kids 2, and we had a lot of fun.
Wow. Wow. That's them trying to do tricks.
Then we moved on and played the last 3 games all in the span of 30 seconds.
Oh, yes. No.
Well,
Yes.
it's my story.
Yeah, so we played them in 30 seconds.
Yep. And then we had so much fun with FIFA, we played that for 3 hours.
Yes. You also forgot one very important game.
I forgot a few. Oh, Yoshi's Story! Oh, we had a cute little story time with Yoshi's Story. Which hearing it now might make you want to stab yourself, but hearing it then...
Oh, it's a blast. Nick?
You want to curl up with a blanket.
Oh, I loved it.
It was, yeah, there should be a little...
there should be some love.
I was going to say like a toaster oven.
Some Yoshi love.
I meant a fireplace, but a toaster oven.
Oven's good.
Toaster oven.
Yeah, just
curl up next to your toaster oven with a nice blanket and play some Yoshi's Story.
Woo!
Then we finished the top 10 games of all time, and that was how it ended.
That was exactly how it ended.
Yeah.
A perfect retelling.
I thought it was pretty good.
I just want to apologize for cutting you off and saying you did the games out of order. You didn't.
Oh, it was perfect?
It was perfect. Absolutely flawless.
Was everything about my performance perfect?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah.
You were okay. We had a bunch of different ideas for games. What made us decide to do the top 10 best Nintendo 64 games and pick these games specifically?
Well, Nick, it's pretty simple, actually.
Yeah.
The original idea came from, actually, to be honest with you,
Yeah.
the original idea came from Nick was like, what do you want to do an episode on? I was like, I think it'd be super cool if I picked a game you never played before and you picked one I've never played before, and we play them, and then we come together and talk about them. Fast forward 3 weeks later when Nick's like, hey, do you want to do the podcast tomorrow? And I hadn't picked a game. And so I went through my Switch, I went through my Xbox, I went through Steam, found nothing. And then I went on the N64 emulator, and I found a bunch of games that I was like, I remember playing these games as a kid. I was going to play them on the channel myself to like relive the nostalgia and everything and see how they held up. But I was like, it might be interesting to let you play these games. And then once I got to it, I was like, Chameleon Twist was the one I was going to show you.
Yeah.
And then I was like, no, like there's so many games here. It would be really cool if we just did 10 minutes of a bunch of different games, compiled them together. The top 10 list actually came like after I downloaded all the games. I was like, we have exactly 10. Let's do a top 10.
Yeah, exactly.
And to be honest with you, there were a lot of actual games we wanted to play, like Mario Party 3 and other Nintendo games like that did not work. They just, when I downloaded them...
They didn't make the cut.
What?
They didn't make the cut of the 10 best games.
That's what I meant. They didn't work, meaning they didn't work for the top 10 because they're not that good.
Right,
Like
exactly.
Mario Party,
Please.
I mean...
Ocarina of Time?
Ocarina of Time.
Legend of Zelda?
Dude, don't even bring up Ocarina of Time. That game is puke in my mouth.
Okay, so that's what we did. That's why we played those games, and they are the best of the best. And now it is time for the moment that we have been waiting for. We are going to actually rank and review these 10 best Nintendo 64 games. Tell you what is the best game of all time on the Nintendo 64.
Absolutely.
And what is the 10th best game.
So are we rattling off together? Like, I made 2 lists.
You made 2 lists.
I made the list of where I thought everything was going to land,
Okay.
and the list of where everything actually landed.
For you.
For me.
So what I say we do is we do the one where you thought everything was going to land, and I will add my tidbits, if you will.
Okay, yep.
And then together we go through your other list, and I will critique you and break you down until you agree with my list as opposed to yours.
Perfect.
Okay, good.
So, you want me to start with top number 10?
Yeah, number 10 on what you expected.
Okay, what I expected. I expected Superman to be number 10 for me. Number 9, for the same reasons, I put Spider-Man, but I also ranked Spider-Man above Superman because Spider-Man is actually my favorite superhero ever.
Spider-Man is life.
For 8th, it would be Rugrats Scavenger Hunt.
Okay.
And this is where it gets really hard. Number 7, I said Snowboard Kids. Had high hopes for Snowboard Kids.
Yeah.
This is another one where I wanted to rank it up higher, but I couldn't. I'd never played it before, but I'd seen the box art so many times where I was like, this could be a really fun racing game. 6th, I said Pokemon Stadium.
Okay.
I played Pokemon Stadium 1 and Pokemon Stadium 2, and I loved both of those games. Yoshi's Story, I said 5th.
Really?
4th, I said Diddy Kong Racing.
Oh.
So then number 3, I said Chameleon Twist. 2. Chameleon Twist 2. So then second, I thought Star Fox.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because Star Fox is just a gem. And then 1, I said FIFA.
I hate you.
Because, no, but, it's just not fair to compare them to the rest of the games because the graphics are amazing, incredible, super realistic.
They're so good. They're so good.
So good.
Okay.
Well, hold on.
Okay.
Do you want me to be serious about FIFA or do you want me to meme FIFA?
Mean FIFA. What
Yeah, so it was number 1.
Oh, okay, great. Now, the playing of these games is totally different than the way I imagined any of them, except for Star Fox 64 to be. Mm-hmm. Star Fox 64 was still a blast.
We knew what that was going to be.
Yeah, that's solid game. So that one is probably the most. This is what I thought it was going to be, and it nailed it.
Yep.
Great game.
Great game.
Fantastic game. Now, all of the other games. Now, I'd like to hear this list, and I will talk with you through it, and we'll kind of try and rank them together. Okay? What is your other list? So I just wanted to say that Star Fox was like exactly like what I expected. Everything else was not like I expected.
So my other list is my top 10.
Okay.
Do you want...
I'll tell you how you're wrong. How about we do that? I'll just debate you on each one.
Okay, so at number 10, Snowboard Kids.
Not much debate here.
Not much debate.
Pretty awful.
You want to talk about our experience playing Snowboard Kids?
Of course I want to talk about that.
You want to start?
Yeah, so this was another game that, like, Stephen was right. When you kind of go back and think about these games, you think about the box art. And I remember, it's cool. It's like late 90s. They're kids who are snowboarding.
Spiky hair,
goggles. Whoa, so cool. And I remember playing some of these levels and, like, having some fun with it and all that kind of stuff. I thought it was a good party racing game, so... I didn't think it was going to be the best game ever, but I was like, oh yeah, I remember really liking that game. The game is just painful.
It was really painful.
We did not help it out because we picked the hardest course and we went as fast as we could. But the thing was, we played against two computers. One computer I was able to beat because I had decent controlling. The other computer lapped me twice. How is they're on the same level? Like, how is that even a thing which I can beat? It lapped me twice. Then you're doing tricks and you're falling all the time.
Yeah.
Again, not really much instruction. Although this game doesn't really have much story. You're just snowboarding down hoops.
Well, what does the tricks do? Like, I know it gives you points, but what are those points for?
I think points were for money. Money was so that you could buy items. Items was so that you could affect other players.
Oh, there were ways to affect other players.
Yeah.
That's how bad this game was. I was like, there were only two buttons. There was like, you could steer. Well, there were three. You could steer, you could go in a straight line and build up speed, or you could jump. And that was it.
Well, steering and going in a straight line are basically the same thing.
No, but there was a button, if you held down B, you like couldn't turn. You
Is
just
that
like
what that was about?
Yeah, that's how I started going so fast.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
But now, here's the thing. We played on the hardest mode.
Yeah.
And I wasn't expecting either of us to win. Because we put the computers on hard, we played on the hardest mode, like all that.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting us to win, but I was expecting us to
have a fight.
Have
we didn't
a
get
good
lapped.
Time. Yeah.
We got lapped.
Well, so we picked the hardest mode. I picked the fastest kid, the fastest board, like no steering, nothing.
They were all 10.
That's 100% on me. I'm not even going to like dispute that, but it was so bad to the point where I was holding the stick to the right or the left to turn, and he would not turn. He would not budge.
Yeah, Steven got so angry we had to switch players halfway through the game.
We did, and did he turn at all?
No, he didn't.
No. You can't, like that, I know that's on me, but come on, like you have to have, the game has to function. Like,
it has to at least function.
If there's turns, I have to be able to turn.
I will say though, his voice was pretty funny. Ooh,
oh my gosh, yeah.
Because he'd fall a lot.
Yeah, but then I switched with Nick, and I was like, this is so much more enjoyable. I can actually steer.
I wasn't. Even
it still
when I
wasn't
was
fun.
playing my guy, I didn't think he was doing great. And I was probably the most balanced character possible.
Yeah, you're right. Because the thing about yours, which I also noticed, was I could turn to the left effortlessly, but I couldn't turn to the right.
Well, it's probably because when you're snowboarding, I don't know, I don't snowboard.
Yeah, well, there were ways to flip the board.
Yes.
And I like figured that out, but I was trying to strategize and be like, okay, if the board's facing this way, can I turn one way better than the other? Is that way you flip the board? But then I flipped it, and it was like the same thing. Like nothing changed. And also, the weird thing was when I flipped the board with your character, it was just a function of the game. But when I flipped the board with my character, all this huge text covered my screen that was like, wrong way, board facing the wrong way.
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, bud.
I'm
either. Sorry.
That game was atrocious.
That game was not fun. It was actually actual pain. All right, number 10, Snowboard Kids 2.
Yes. Number 9, FIFA. I'm going to stop memeing for a second.
That's fair. We couldn't even get the game to play.
The game didn't even work. The game crashed every time we tried to get it to work. And I will say, I know I put it at number 1. That was a joke. Honestly, I probably would have put it around 6 or 7. Yeah. I've played FIFA games, and I know nothing about soccer at all, but those games are a lot of fun. So, I was thinking about like NBA Showtime and like Blitz, and I was like, I bet we can get some good, fun, like competitive laughs out of this game.
And we got some good laughs out of it.
We did.
but it was only because literally the game never started.
Yeah, and I know what you're thinking. Well, shouldn't that disqualify it? Shouldn't it put it at number 10? No.
Snowboard Kids was awful.
Snowboard Kids was worse. Because at least FIFA, we never played, so we don't know if it's any good or not. Snowboard Kids, we know it's trash, and I'm very certain that FIFA would have been more fun.
Actual pain.
Actual pain.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. FIFA 9, that's fair.
Superman 8.
Disagree.
What do you think it was?
Disagree.
Whoa!
Better than 8.
Better than 8?
I thought,
No.
Yeah. Okay, so I didn't actually play this game. I watched Steven play.
Oh,
but
that's
the amount,
mistake. We should put this podcast off now and play it.
The joy that I got from this was so high. This game was, from the second it starts, there is no story, no explanation of how to play the controls, and when you do start doing the controls, they don't work at all. And then, whenever they tell you what your objective is, you have less than a second to read the objective, so you don't know what you're doing, and you get totally lost, and I will tell you, I laughed so hard playing this game. Way better than 8. Oh my gosh, this game was amazing.
Now, I actually played this game, and it was...
That's the difference right now in the review, I can tell you right now.
Atrocious agony in hell. Nick is right. There was no plot, but even the plot it did have, there was one speech bubble to explain what was going on. First of all, didn't explain what was going on. Second of all, couldn't read it if you wanted to. I don't care how fast you read, you could have not, it took us 5 times looking at that screen to understand what it said.
Yes, that's true.
And then the rules, first of all, 75% of the levels is flying through rings. You can't even steer Superman well.
Literally, I think the plot is that Lex Luthor somehow trapped your friends, and he goes, "You have to solve my maze in order to save your friends."
Yep.
Why?
Why
would that be the thing?
He flies so fast. It is ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
And then the worst is when it's like, hurry up and lift these cars up before they hit pedestrians. You have 4 seconds, and they're like halfway across the map. Or even worse, when it's like, save this police car before it gets blown up, and as soon as the text disappears, the car explodes, and it's like, Lex Luthor wins.
I don't know what you're supposed to do.
It says retry, and you hit yes, and it takes you back to the ring maze again. So you have to do all that shit all over again.
Oh my gosh. Oh, pure pain, but so much fun.
Yeah, well, that's why I gave it an 8. Because it was...
Hold on. We haven't even talked about the multiplayer mode yet.
No, we haven't. You're right.
Multiplayer mode, you play as Superman's villains, and you're in these little pod racers that the only way I can describe it is it's like a Burger King toy, is what they look like.
Yeah, that's pretty solid.
Right? Like, as soon as you would go, it would kind of build the world. Everything else was in blue around you, and it was so terrible. And then when you were, I think you were trying to shoot each other down, and when you finally did find the guy that you were trying to shoot down, he looked so stupid.
He was really stupid.
Because you couldn't move, so it would just be like this little, I can't even describe it. You just imagine taking your hand, put your hand flat right now, and just move your hand. Not your arm, just your hand.
Just your wrist.
Just from your wrist. Yeah. That thing is what it looked like in the game.
Uh-huh.
That's exactly, right?
Yeah. And it was basically like, is it GoldenEye?
Kind of like GoldenEye.
It was kind of like GoldenEye,
but
except
like
for
everything about it was terrible.
Except for you're in a little like submarine, and like you're not walking on the floor, you're flying everywhere you go. And it flies just as fast, if not faster than Superman. But that's why I gave it an 8, because at least we laughed.
Yeah, we laughed really hard.
At least I had fun.
Yeah, that's why I had a lot of fun, and I didn't play it, might be why it's higher for me.
Well, see, this is where we're going to disagree, okay? Because I know you're going to disagree with this, and you're going to flip these two.
Okay.
So what did I say? I said Superman was 8?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're 7. Rugrats Scavenger Hunt. I said was 7.
Oh, wow.
And actually, now that I'm saying that out loud...
It sounds a little high, right?
When I was writing it down, I was like, yeah, now that I'm saying it out loud...
Sounds a little high, right?
Sounds a little high, yeah. Maybe I should flip those two.
That game was pain.
That game was pain. Here's the thing, though.
Yeah?
There's 3 different game modes.
Yeah.
First of all, let's dissect this game a little bit. Voice acting from the actual characters on the show.
That part was impeccable.
That was
That was
great.
actually really cool.
Solid. We picked, so there's 3 game modes, or scratch that. We'll start off by saying there's 3 boards. Kind of like in Super Mario Party where you have like 3 different boards you can choose from. It's like a ruined temple theme. Like
Yeah.
a temple.
There's a temple.
And then there's
pirate
theme, and then there's a Reptar theme. Now Nick was like, I remember playing the pirate theme, and I was like, I remember playing the ruin theme, so we gotta do Reptar.
Yeah, because
it's
neither of us and it's Reptar.
So we start the Reptar one, and hot garbage to the point where we don't understand what's happening, and we have a dice that we roll to go 1 to 6
An
spaces.
egg that we spin.
It's a spinner, yeah. To go from like 1 to 5 spaces or something like that. But the whole game is predetermined.
Yeah, pretty much.
We literally just spin it, and then things happen, and we have to land on the right spaces to win. And there's nothing we can do.
Yeah, that's basically it.
We do that for like 30 minutes, and then we're like, wow, this was a huge letdown. And then I'm like, hold on, this is
not
nothing
the
like
game
I
that we
remember.
remember.
No, I'm like, I remembered this map, let's try this out. And so we try the temple map, and oh my god,
Instantly, it's way better.
way better game.
Yeah.
It's like, it goes from you have literally nothing to do except for spin a spinner, to you have like 7 different things you can do on your turn. The board is like multi-roomed. You can choose to go left, right, straight, back, like any direction you want. And it was also nice because the Reptar one was just collect these things before everyone else does. I never collected a single frickin' thing. Like, I couldn't.
You got lots of Reptar bars.
I got lots of Reptar bars, which essentially did nothing at all. Nick got really far, but then one of the computers landed on a space where they stole everything from him.
They stole everything, and then another computer landed on a space where you could convert your Reptar bars into regular bars, which none of us had the ability to do that anywhere else. And we were like, if you could do that, Stephen would have won this thing like
a long
time ago.
It's ridiculous. And it's not even like, think Boo, where it's like, Boo's like, oh, I got 12 coins for you. Yay. It was like, I landed on a space where it was called Whammy, which I had no idea what that meant.
Yeah.
But I selected a character who had like 30 Reptar bars, and it took every bar from them and gave it to me. You know how But then someone else landed on a space that was like, give another player the same amount of Reptar bars you have, and they had like 5, and it took all 40 Reptar bars from me and knocked it down to 5. That's infuriating.
You know what's even more infuriating?
What?
That we got and lost our Reptar bars, and they didn't even matter.
Well, here's the other thing. Reptar, so we're all playing against each other.
Oh yeah, and Reptar's also on the board.
Has his own turn where he moves around the board, and it doesn't do anything.
Sometimes.
Sometimes it does stuff.
And then sometimes there's a whole thing where he gives people candy, but they don't actually get candy. Like, like it was like, oh my gosh, Reptar, thank you so much. And he's like throwing candy at the baby, and you're like,
and
okay,
then it's
great.
like, these spaces mean nothing now. And that's what it did. It didn't give you any candy.
No, it did nothing good for you.
No, but like we're playing against each other. Reptar has his own move, but doesn't do anything. Then we play the temple theme. There's Angelica, there's Spike, there's Grandpa. Grandpa gives you like cookies, which are essentially coins.
Yeah.
Spike
lets you move
fast travel to other places, and then Angelica steals things from you.
Yeah.
And the whole objective of that game was all the babies are working together, and we're trying to find these pieces of this statue before Angelica finds the pieces to her statue. Now that's fun.
It was fun, only for so long.
Only for so long.
It did become a little bit more like, oh, I'm just getting cookies again, or oh, I'm searching in a room that has nothing in it.
Now I will say,
and I think that's only because there wasn't something to break it up like in Mario Party, like we're probably more used to, like a minigame. So it might just be a preference thing where after a while, if that was the game that I had and that was the mode that I had, I'd probably enjoy that way better.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is I had Mario Party 1 and 2 and Rugrats Scavenger Hunt. And I definitely played Mario Party 1 and 2 more, but every now and then it was nice to have like a little
difference.
Especially because we watch Rugrats on TV, and then you go and play their game, and it has their voice acting.
Yeah, which
That's
is really
so cool.
Really cool.
One last thought.
Yeah.
Let's rewind. Let's pretend like this never happened.
Okay.
We sit down to record and play Rugrats.
Yeah.
We immediately go to the treasure hunt one. We don't even do the Reptar one.
Yeah.
So then, if that were to happen, I'm sitting here being like, I would have been like, oh, this is exactly how I remember it. And we probably would have played it for about 10, 15 minutes, give it the benefit of the doubt, see where it goes. But I think you're absolutely right. We would have gotten to a point where we're like, this is, it's not fun. And I think the only reason it was so much fun when we actually did get to it was because the first mode we played was so bad, it made the second mode seem so amazing.
I think you're right.
So maybe that should be 8 and Superman should be 7.
I think 8's good. 8's good for that.
And Superman 7?
I'm going to hold on Superman 7 only because I want to hear what else we have.
Oh, you're not going to move Superman.
Oh, it's going to stay at 7,
you
think?
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
If you do, there's only one thing you would move it with, and I will punch you dead in the face if you moved it with Chameleon Twist.
Oh, okay. All right, let's keep it going. That was 8 and 7, basically.
7. Spider-Man 6, which you might put it higher.
Spider-Man was really fun.
It was a good game.
I'm trying not to be biased at all.
It was
actually pretty fun.
I'm not biased. I would have... Because Spider-Man's my favorite superhero, I would have torn it apart if it was a bad game.
Yeah, no, it was actually pretty fun.
And we're going to ignore the fact that the graphics were terrible because I was doing it on an emulator and the graphics were spawning in and out. That's from the port, that's not from the game.
Yeah.
The game wasn't like that.
Especially in comparison to Superman, the story was explained much better, even if it was still a bad explanation, because the way that the story was being told was Black Cat would just pop in, say something, and then leave. And then she'd pop in, say something else, and then leave. But it literally tells you, this is what you do for this. This is how you handle this. This is how you do this. Oh, okay, great. Now I know what the heck I'm doing.
Yeah, and maybe I'm just not super keen on Spider-Man lore. I feel like you're more into Spider-Man lore than I am, and you were also confused.
Yeah.
Because Eddie Brock is a character, but he kept every other line calling himself Brock or Eddie, and it was like he was talking to someone, but it was just himself.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
well, that's the whole Venom thing.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, he kind of...
Because eventually he did turn into Venom in the story mode and everything. But you got Stan Lee telling you about the story.
Yeah, Stan Lee was actually like a narrator for the thing. Like, that's pretty cool.
And honestly, Peter Parker's voice acting, although like not the Peter Parker we now know, but like for back then, pretty solid voice acting for a video game. Yeah.
Pretty solid animation in general for the way Spider-Man looks, minus the weird like...
There were some weird things, but like, it was great. And the goons were stupid, but AI just wasn't what it is now.
Yeah, that's true.
And although the music had some really weird moments, they tried with the like rock and like the bass line was super cool.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom.
It was to me, it felt like it was a really good homage to this Spider-Man cartoon show.
Yeah, or a cartoon.
And what little we played was pretty fun.
Yeah.
I would definitely play more of it. I don't know how much more of it I would play.
Well, I think it'd be interesting to see where it went.
Yeah.
I would say it had some Superman-esque moments where it was like Spider-Man jumped into the bank and he was like, I gotta save this hostage. And then you like punched the guy who was holding the hostage captive and the hostage just took off sprinting and then one of the goons' friends just shot him dead. And it was like game over.
I didn't even realize I was supposed to save a hostage too. So I was like, wait, the game is over? Why?
But like music, super cool.
Yeah.
You had more things you could do. Superman could only fly and then like throw one punch. That was the same punch over and
But
over.
he never needed to throw a punch.
No,
because
never.
he didn't have bad guys to fight.
And then when we were just doing practice mode flying around the world, it was like shoot ice beams out of your eyes.
Yeah.
I was like, what? When? When is that a thing? Because I never saw that. And then I couldn't even find the bad guy to test it on.
Okay, yeah, Superman number 7, that's pretty fair.
Yeah.
That's pretty fair.
Yeah, Spider-Man was good. I put that at 6. Do you put it above, maybe? You want to keep going?
I wanna before we click into that.
Okay. I said Pokemon Stadium is exactly where I said it was, which was number 5. Do you think Spider-Man was above Pokemon Stadium?
Possibly.
Maybe.
Possibly. Because Pokemon Stadium, you're right, was a little limited. I will say what's really cool about it is that you got the 3D animations of all of the Pokemon that you never got.
Oh, and the battling was cool.
Battling was a cool mechanic, built really well, and I always love those little mini games.
And then as far as the fighting went, like I didn't even demolish you. It felt like I did, but I really didn't.
Yeah, no, that's true. It made me feel like I had a chance.
And the reason why it may have felt like I kicked your butt is because we picked our Pokemon randomly. Yeah. And Nick got stuck with 5 out of your 6.
Four out of my 6 were water types.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I only had one Thunder type Pokemon, but all of my Pokemon knew Thunder moves.
Which was very weird.
Very weird. Like, it was like Nidoran knew like
Yeah.
thunder.
For some reason. Did Beedrill know a thunder move?
I don't think so. I think
Okay.
Beedrill was like the one who didn't, but like you couldn't land a punch on Beedrill.
It felt fun, and they felt faster than I would have thought to.
I think it's a great game, but I also do think it's one of those games where you come back to every couple of years and you're like, this is fun, but it doesn't have much lasting appeal. Because even if you play the story mode where you beat all the gym leaders, like, it's just the same thing every time.
Okay. Yeah, that's at 6 or 5?
5. I put middle of the line, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's pretty solid.
You think
Pretty
Spider-Man's
solid.
above that?
I had a lot of fun playing Spider-Man.
Okay, so we might bump that up.
We might.
Okay. So that was 5th. Number 4, I said Diddy Kong Racing. I know you're going to want to put that higher.
I love that game
I know.
so much.
I know.
I love that game to the end of time, but I will admit, even when I played it that time, it was like...
Well, I want to say I don't think I gave it a fair chance.
Okay.
Specifically because we played all the other games for like 15 minutes, and we played that one for under 10.
Yeah.
We literally did 2 races, and I was like, that's it. It's literally just because I remember the cart and the boat and the planes being so much fun, and we did a cart level, and I was like, ooh, I want to do a boat level because I thought the boats were so cool. The boat was insanely hard to control.
The hovercrafts
It was
are very
ridiculous,
difficult.
and it made me not want to play the game
You
anymore.
should have played plane level too,
We should have also done
because
plane
the
level.
planes are super fun.
Yeah.
The hovercrafts are annoying. Planes are super fun. Also, what was hard was because we were just starting the game, we didn't have all of the levels really to play with, and we didn't have all of the other modes and all that kind of stuff. But I thought the characters in that game, all of them are super, super fun.
Yeah. The world is so much fun.
The world is really, really
Tracks
pretty.
are great.
Tracks are really good. The music in any Rare game in that time period,
Oh my god.
spot on.
Still today, there's not that many, but
yeah, I listen. I have that on my phone and I listen to it all the time just because I'm a nerd. But I will say this time I didn't have as much fun.
I think if we sat down and actually played it, we'd have a lot of fun.
Yeah,
but because
probably.
we were racing through all these games,
Yeah.
it was a little iffy.
Okay, what's left? Chameleon Twist, Star Fox 64,
And Yoshi's Story.
okay, because now I have to start making choices on all this kind of stuff. Okay.
Yeah, and that's where you also have to decide, which either is perfectly fine. Are we basing it based on overall knowledge of the game or from our experience playing it just
I
this
think
time?
our experience playing it this time.
Okay.
I think. Which I hate to do this to you, but I have to say, Chameleon Twist was kind of difficult for me.
Yeah.
It was
No, that's fine.
It was not pain. It wasn't like ugh.
It
But
was
it was more
hard.
like, what is happening?
It was hard to pick up and learn the controls.
The learning curve in the first level
Yeah,
was
it was-
like, what? Once
Yeah.
I got past, I would say, the windmills, then I was like, oh. Once I got some regular platforming stuff, and I will say, the tongue mechanic, which sounds weird, was really cool, actually.
It is cool.
It is
I
a
really
cool
like it.
mechanic. But it's just, for me, it was just difficult to control a little bit.
Well, and the thing is, I wouldn't necessarily say it's difficult to control because like the character moves fine.
Yeah, the character moves.
It's just that the tongue mechanic is new and you have to learn it, and it really doesn't teach you how to do it.
No.
And I will drop some truth on you,
Yeah.
which is that remember when you came over and we were going to play all these games, and I was like, man, I wanted to show you Chameleon Twist 2, but now I'm not sure.
Yeah.
That's because right before you got there, I played it for like 10, 15 minutes.
Oh.
And I was having a hard time controlling it.
Oh.
And I had the same issue. I was like, when the rabbit comes down, you go to like the practice stage and it
Yeah.
tells you all the buttons to press. That took me like 10 minutes to figure out.
That makes me feel so much
Yeah.
better.
And then that's why
have
when
no
you
idea how much
That's
better
why
that
when you
makes you
handed
feel.
it to me and were like, no, you do it. I did it on my first try because I had literally just did it before you got there.
I'm both happier and upset at you right now.
Because I didn't tell you.
Because you didn't tell me
Because
that.
you're like, how'd you do that? I'm like, because I'm good.
Because I'm so good at this. Wow, you make me feel like an idiot.
Now, me personally, I said Chameleon Twist, I was hoping it would be number 2. I bumped it up to 3. I would be willing to move it up higher, but once we got going, I felt like we had a lot more fun with it. Because Diddy Kong, I mean, if you're taking the game as a whole, Diddy Kong is going to be a better game.
Yeah.
But from my experience, you'd never played that game before.
That's true.
It's nowhere near as good as games now, but for that time period, it's a pretty fun game.
Yeah, it does. And it's crazy how forgotten it was.
Oh, yeah.
Just like nothing. And it seems like a perfectly serviceable, fun platformer game, which were huge at that time. So my initial thought, which may be kind of biased, is to go 10 through 7 like we already had, and then differ from you. 6 is Pokemon Stadium, 5 is Spider-Man, 4 Chameleon Twist, 3 Diddy Kong.
Dude, I'm fine with that. Chameleon Twist in the top 5.
Yeah?
Lit.
You're good with that?
I'm cool with that.
Yeah, because Pokemon Stadium was just not...
Yeah, Pokemon Stadium is definitely a 4 to 6 for me.
Yeah.
Probably more 5th, 6th.
Yeah.
And that's how it's always been. That's why when I was telling you if we did a real top 10, not that this isn't real, this is 100%
real.
But if I did like...
Yeah, it probably wouldn't be there.
Probably wouldn't even make the list.
Yeah, no, I agree. Okay, cool.
Anyways, what was I just... Chameleon Twist is 3rd.
Okay. I have it as 4, but okay.
That's fine. Well, I'll probably end up agreeing and conforming to your list.
Yes, that's how it should be.
Yoshi's Story, I went from 4th to 2nd. And it might have just been because of how over everything I was, that once we got to Yoshi's Story, it was so pleasant.
Yeah.
It was so happy and cheerful, and it was nice. And I think, it was because the N64 was one of the first systems ever to actually do 3D worlds.
Yeah.
And so they were figuring it out. So it is really clunky and hard to maneuver. And when you got to Yoshi's Story, it was a 3D world on a 2D platform.
Yeah.
And that was so pleasant.
Storytelling without saying much, right? It just opened a book, and then these pages flapped open, and then you guys kind of pick characters.
And you didn't even get to read the text, because the text didn't pop up.
Yeah, text didn't really pop up.
So you didn't even know what was happening. There is a story.
Yeah. I didn't even need to necessarily have it, though, to enjoy what was happening. You know what I mean? Like, I had heard Yoshi's Story, and then the music was super cute, and the whole style of the game, they had an exact idea of what they were doing, and they stuck to it the entire time.
Yeah, like the game starts off where it's a storybook, like you said, and it opens up, and there's pages and stuff. But then, in the world, like, the background is like a pop-up storybook.
Yeah.
And they stick to that. And that's so cool.
Yeah.
And nice. And that's Nintendo polish, which is just the thing Nintendo does. They really polish their games and make them amazing. They're big titles like Zelda and Mario and all those games. And you can really see it in Yoshi's Story.
Totally.
There's a lot of love in that game.
Totally, yeah, a lot of love. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, it's a good game.
Yeah.
Number 1, Star Fox. There's no argument there.
Yeah. It's just a good game.
It's amazing. It holds up.
It holds up so well.
It makes me, and I know everyone says this, it makes me so desperately want them to have like a Star Fox Switch. Like, that'd be so amazing.
The thing is that they've made a couple of other new Star Foxes. They've even made them that try and replicate that Star Fox 64 as much as possible. It just doesn't hold up because the voice acting in this is so good. Iconic lines, like the script is incredible. The gameplay is nearly flawless, right? And if you understand why each character is the way that it is and like how they work in the game, you can do whatever you want in it. It's both an on-rails shooter, but you still feel like you're in total control. And then so much is happening so quickly that you feel like, oh no, I'm shooting all of the aliens in the entire world. But also, at the same time, you know exactly what you're doing. You feel very, very skilled.
Even if they just basically reskinned the same game.
Yeah.
And just like maybe just made the planets a little different, and the bosses different, and the story a little different, but like the same branching where you can go to different planets and just like updated the graphics to today's graphics, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, I know.
It's such a good game.
Stuff.
If you've never played Star Fox, you need to.
Everything felt like there was a lot of tension and pressure, but also that it was very achievable. And when you died, you'd come up with a new strategy on how something would work. And they would give you tips they would do all of the things the right way. So they would give you tips in fun character ways. And if you started to not like those tips, you could literally shoot the person that would give you those tips so that you didn't have to listen to him anymore.
Yep. Yeah. Well, and that's a nice little, like, you know, the game is fairly forgiving in the sense that, like, I was majorly messing around when we were playing, and I wasn't really playing, and I ran into a bunch of things, but I still, like, I survived. Yeah. But at the same time, you can't just, like, brute force everything. You do have to, like, roll out of the way, and, like, you have to know what you're doing, because if you just brute force through the whole thing, you have, like, a bunch of worlds to get through, and there is health you can pick up along the way, but your damage goes from level to level. Yeah. Like, you have to be strategic. And like Nick was saying in the video, if like Falco gets shot down, well, the next level he's out. So that's
Yeah.
more that you have to do because you don't have a teammate helping you out.
Exactly.
And he'll come back, so it doesn't punish you too hard, but it punishes you enough to be like, hey, you need
I
a
should really
savior.
try these kinds of, like, I should really try and do this kind of stuff. And it gave, like Stephen was saying, different paths. You could go, if you wanted to do it easier, you could do the easier route or the really hard route. Or
Lots of
there's
secrets.
Lots of secret different paths and things like that, ways to get to different places. And Stephen was like, oh, I wanted to take the warp zone in here. I was like, yeah, but you have to do this exact thing. And I gotta be honest, I don't even know how I learned all of that stuff, except for probably just watching somebody else.
Dude, back then, you just did the thing is, back in the 90s when you played these games,
just did stuff.
You would just, like, play the game, because, I mean, like, they had Nintendo Magazine and stuff, and maybe I saw some stuff in that.
Yeah.
Maybe that's how you would know.
Yeah.
But you didn't have the internet, so you didn't look that up. You just literally played the game, beat it, played it again, beat it, and you just play the same games 5 million times because they were just good games, and then eventually something new would happen, or you'd like have a friend come over and you'd redo something with them, and they'd show you something and you'd show them something. Because I don't know how we did it either, but I know that we did it, and we got the secret ending to the game.
Yeah, of course.
Secret ending, which, if you went back and looked at it now, you have to do a lot of things to get that secret ending. I don't know how we did it.
Yeah.
But we figured it out.
I know. And the fact that it was a game that programmed... It's a short game, so you can play through the whole thing in like an hour. But the thing is, you're not playing through the whole thing. You're playing through like one part of it. You know what I mean? And then you
have to replay it to get all the story.
You have to replay it over and over and over and over again, which is why that first level I know like the back of my hand. I could do that almost in my sleep. So fun. But yeah, obviously. Best.
Number one. So you want to go back down to your list, top 10?
Okay, so it was pretty similar to yours. I think number 10 was Snowboard Kids.
I agree.
9 was FIFA.
Yep.
8 was Superman.
You wanted to bump it up though. What you wanted? You said 8 was Rugrats.
Oh, 8 was Rugrats. 7 was Superman.
I'm okay with that.
Okay, 8 was Rugrats. 7 was Superman. 6 was a Pokemon Stadium.
Yep.
5 was Spider-Man.
Yep.
Which was surprisingly fun.
I'm cool with that.
4 was Chameleon Twist 2.
Okay.
Ooh.
3 was Diddy Kong Racing.
See, I have to say 3 was Diddy Kong Racing only because of the argument that you made earlier, where like if it was the game as a whole, number 2, easy.
But that's also nostalgia and your experience playing it.
For me, it's not just nostalgia though, because I've played and beaten as everything that you could in that game on 64, and then when it came out to the DS port, I played and beat everything on that, and then my game got erased, and I played and beat everything on it again. That game to me is like magic.
No, it's great. But the thing is, because I'm the same way. I want it to be above Yoshi's Story 2, and when I made the list, I was like, Yoshi's Story is a great game, but it's middle of the line. Dude, I had so much fun with Yoshi's Story.
It was so cute.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like,
it was adorable.
Gotta take the 2.
It really did. It earned it. It earned it.
It did.
Yeah, so I'd say Diddy Kong 3, Yoshi's Story 2, 1 is Star Fox.
I will... okay.
It's the middle of the list is where you have issue, right?
No. Not to be difficult. I agree with that 100%. Even though that's a lot different than my list, I agree with that 100%.
Okay.
I will have to switch Superman and Rugrats because I played Superman. I'm sorry. I have to.
That's true.
I was sitting there listening to the
garbage.
list. I was listening to the list and I was like, I cannot
give it 7.
I cannot give it 7. It's so bad. Like, there's just nothing to it.
Yeah.
Like, and I know there's nothing to Rugrats either, but at least Rugrats gives you different modes, and like you could sit there and play the game and beat it. I don't think I could beat Superman.
No, I don't think I could beat Superman either.
I couldn't.
The only reason it would rank so high is out of the sheer joy
that you got from watching me play. Yeah, exactly.
Not play.
Struggle.
It was an actual difficult task for you to play. It was where the most fun thing you could do was fly in circles into the water. That was the
water
most
sound effect.
Fun thing you could do.
Well, the dolphin thing was fun for me, but that's really it.
But there it is, our list of the top 10 best games for the new...
Snowboard Kids, 10. FIFA, 9. Superman, 8. Rugrats, 7. 6. Pokemon Stadium, 5. 5. Spider-Man.
5 Spider-Man.
4 Chameleon Twist, 3 Diddy Kong Racing, 2 Yoshi Story, 1 Star Fox.
Yeah, that's it. There it is, the official list.
If you have more 64 games you want us to play, I don't know if you can comment on podcasts. So go to my channel, check out the videos, and comment there. And then
definitely.
Because I'm down to do this again.
Absolutely.
I will say it did.
We could do the top 10 worst Nintendo 64 games and include those trash games like Mario 64 and Legend of Zelda.
And Donkey Kong.
And Donkey Kong.
Yeah. Gross. I'm more than happy to do that again. I will say, to be honest with you, and I think you saw it as you were leaving, it did take a hit on my mental. It took a toll on my mental health.
Yeah, we were playing games for a while.
I went straight to work and I was like, I didn't know where I was. I was literally, like there are times when we record games like Mario Party, and I said this to you yesterday, where Mario Party is just fun.
Yeah.
Even if we don't get great content out of it, I'm still having a blast hanging out with my friend playing Mario Party.
Yeah.
That was work.
That was work.
Those games were work.
Some of them were work.
Some of them were work.
Superman
not all
was not work.
No.
That was fun for me.
Yeah.
Superman was fun for me.
I'm glad.
Superman
I'm glad you had fun.
For you, wasn't it?
I'm glad you had fun, Nick.
Yeah. Well then, I think that's about it. Tell us, what is the channel one more time?
Okay. It is phBalance, because of Stephen with the PH.
Yes.
So phBalance. I want it to eventually become a multi-platform channel where we do like short films, live action skits, video games, maybe even some music, maybe even post some film auditions I do, stuff like that. So I want it to be a whole bunch of different things. But for the most part, I gotta be honest, it's probably just gonna be video games. Nick will be on a lot of them. The videos with Nick are a lot more adult because of me, not because of him.
Yeah, I don't know why, but it is.
A lot of language.
Yes.
And no face cam. So if you just want like a podcast version of a video game, that's us. If you watch the videos with me, where it's just me, it's going to be a little more wholesome and clean, but it's also gonna have face cam.
I love that you're making all of these, like, just so you know, one's a wholesome version, one's not, and it's not like because I'm with you, but it's not like I'm the unwholesome one.
No, it's me. It's my 2 different personalities coming through.
But there you go. phBalance with Steven. Honestly, I always have a lot of fun when I play these games with him, so I definitely recommend checking it out. That is about all the time that we have here, so thank you very much, Steven. I appreciate it. Again, this is Nick from Minus Nnamdi.
He didn't make it today.
No, Nnamdi, he never showed up. Traffic was really, really bad. But you should join us next time on Nick Minus Nnamdi. Nnamdi will hopefully be here next time, and we've decided that together, Nnamdi and I are going to learn telepathy and discuss its advantages and disadvantages. So you definitely want to see us for the next show. So go ahead and join us. Thank you guys very much. And I really, really also appreciate you listening to the show on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your streaming podcasts. Please go ahead, tell a friend, subscribe, do all those things. I think this is how you do a podcast ad. I'm not sure. This is like my first time trying it.
Ad for your podcast?
Yeah, ad for my own podcast. Why
Well, they
can't I
gotta
do that?
listen to your podcast to listen
Well, they've already listened to it, but if they haven't subscribed to it, like you can listen to a podcast without subscribing, right? Like I watch your channel and I'm not subscribed to you because I don't like you.
Oh my gosh.
So it's the same thing, but I'm just telling them to subscribe. Like, share, subscribe, add on Facebook, whatever. Anyway, that's it. Thank you guys very much. Glad that went well, and we will hear from you next time. Bye-bye.